Hello guys, welcome back to another video on the Stratus Forecast Weather channel. Sorry it's been a day or two since I've uploaded, but I did do a live stream. Again, we're trying to consistently upload like every other day. And sometimes I will do daily, okay? So that's the best I can do right now. So, in today's video we're going to be going over a little bit of a snow shower event, more of a snow event in the northeast. It's not going to accumulate a whole bunch, but after it we'll see a little bit of a squall line come through. That's a snow squall line that is. Then after that, everything turns to the south, where we can see some severe weather as far south as Texas, areas of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana area. Most of this severe weather should stay on the southern half of Arkansas, but we'll continue to watch this very closely. So, currently out there right now, we're just dealing with cloud cover in the northeast with some snow showers moving into the area. I shouldn't say snow showers. Steady snow moving through the the northeast area. And why I keep on saying this is not really a snowstorm, it's not really a snowstorm. It doesn't have that. Actually, I'll call it a snowstorm because you know what? Why not? So, a snowstorm moving through the northeast right now. This is not going to accumulate to a whole bunch. It's going to be like a widespread, like 1 to 5 inch type deal. 3 to 5 inches in down east Maine. 1 to 3 inches throughout Maine. Throughout the rest of Maine. Snow squall line behind will lead to a few additional inches of snow, obviously. And then we have some cloud cover and snow showers happening through the West Canadian area, and cloud cover in the south. This is going to be associated with our next system, which should be developing pretty soon. But we're going to get into the watches, warnings, and advisories. Before that, I wanted to talk about this real quick. So we have an earthquake. We had an earthquake in Maine, the Maine area. This was recorded near York Harbor, Maine, pretty close to Portland. So a lot of areas were felt as far north as Bangor and as far south as, I think, even parts of like Connecticut. But this earthquake had a magnitude of around 3.8, which is on the very lower side of things, and we tend to see pretty low. We tend to see these on the lower sides of things in this neck of the woods, like northeast areas. But again, areas across the western United States, especially off the coast of California, we see big earthquakes. Obviously, quite a while ago, we saw an earthquake that triggered a tsunami warning in parts of California, which is obviously a rare situation, but it can happen. Obviously, that was dismissed and nothing really happened there, but there was an earthquake. To get really severe earthquakes, you have to be at least a 5.0. I near that moderate, and then once you go moderate and you go up, it gets more intense as you go on. But yeah, a little bit of a weird situation going on down there, but earthquake happening. So, like I said, you can basically picture out where the snowstorm is right now. So winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings cover the northeast. It's not really showing in the northeast right here. You can barely see it right here. There's a winter weather advisory that covers down east Maine and the southern coast of Maine up to the mid coast of Maine. But winter storm warnings in effect for near Watertown area in New York. And that winter weather advisory goes all the way down into southern New York and northern Pennsylvania. Winter storm warnings also in effect for the Vermont area. We have a flood watch in effect for portions of the eastern half of Kansas and western half of Arkansas, yeah. And then we have a dense fog advisory for parts of southwestern Texas and a high wind watch. That's a rare one. High wind watch for parts of western Texas and southeastern parts of New Mexico. Winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories extend from northern New Mexico and southern Colorado. And then we have freeze watches and warnings advised for, we have freeze watches and warnings in effect for the western half of California, and that does cover some of the central part of California. And then whatever state this is, I still have yet to figure it out. It's a pretty obvious one, I think. Anyways, whatever state this is, you're dealing with a freeze warning across the western half of the state, the extreme western half, and then there's a winter weather advisory about in the central and south central area of the state. Alright, so let's get right into the future radar here. So, again, you can basically picture out where everything is going on. So the European model is kind of a bit late on this, but this is also not the latest model. I don't have access to the latest model. But we are dealing with a strong high pressure system in the western half of the country that's going to promote mostly warmer air. So we're going to see this area of low pressure that's developing across the Mexico area. This is going to reach in with a stream of, let me show you this. I just wanted to go back. So there's actually a stream of moisture, a Pacific jet stream covering the Mexico area, and this will be associated with our next low pressure system that develops in the Texas Panhandle. So that's what we're basically seeing here. There's going to be an area of low pressure that starts developing some rain and thunderstorms, and this is when our next severe weather threat is going to happen. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But first, our main main yeah, our main subject right now is the snowstorm in the Northeast. Again, I barely like calling it a snowstorm because it doesn't really have the snowstorm criteria, because it's not really it does have the snowstorm criteria on it, it's just not much. So again, this is through tomorrow morning. We're dealing with snow spreading across much of interior New England. This covers parts of Massachusetts. This covers northwest, northeastern parts of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and southern Maine. And it does get a little bit closer to central Maine. That snow then covers across the state. Quickly covers across the state. This is through midday on Wednesday. Snow through Maine and all the way back through portions of the Great Lakes region. Moving through, we're going to have a little bit of a snow squall event come through there. You can't really see it, but there's some snow squalls back here that'll move through the southern New England or southern northeast. It's kind of interior northeast, and it will move through southern and mid-coast Maine. As we continue on, then our main focus becomes this upcoming storm. Now, this storm is going to be rather on the interesting side of things. So, if we go back a few notches, so everything starts to come together. So, again, everything starts to come together. So, this is through the day on Thursday. Things come together, and this event really starts. This low pressure system starts to organize thunderstorms a little bit more. Thunderstorms become a little bit more organized. To me, this looks more of a wind threat. And because of this, they've actually issued a severe weather alert, which, before we do that, I want to get through this first, or actually. So like I said, because of this, they've actually issued a severe weather threat. So this is for the day on Thursday. We have a marginal risk in place for central Texas and north central Texas. And we have general thunderstorms that can go from about the Arizona area all the way back to New Mexico and areas across the Texas area. And this goes through pretty much the entire state of Kansas, southeastern Oklahoma, or is this Oklahoma? I get these two states confused. Either way, we'll say it's southeastern Kansas or Oklahoma. I don't know which one it is because I keep on getting these states mixed up. But we also have a generalized thunderstorm risk that covers southwestern Missouri and western Arkansas. And I think it might clip a little tiny bit of Louisiana, but it's such a small sliver that you can't really see it there. So our main threats are going to be for tornadoes. Now, I do not think I will be live for this because I'm not going live for a 2% risk for a tornado. That's like a live stream for basically nothing. So there's a 2% risk of a tornado in the central part of Texas. There's a 5% risk of wind, again, covering some of the same area, but it also goes a little bit farther north into Texas. So that's for wind. And we also have a hail risk. So basically an all-day thing. Basically an all severe weather risk today. But again, it doesn't look significant in any way. Again, hail risk expands a little bit wider, and then it goes even sliver part of southern Kansas. Day 3 gets a little bit more interesting. So we're going to have a strong, well, I wouldn't say strong, but we always get moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. That's what fuels these storms, I guess you would say. So we have a marginal risk that extends from far southeastern Kansas, southern Arkansas, western, kind of west central and western parts of Mississippi. Slight risk covers pretty much the entire state of Louisiana. Only spots that wouldn't be added to this slight risk of severe weather would be far northwestern parts of Louisiana and far western parts of Mississippi. And the marginal risk again extends from far southeast Kansas, far southern Arkansas, western Mississippi, parts of southern and northwestern Louisiana. Sorry, I'm having brain issues, whatever's going on up here. And then eastern parts of Texas. And this has no really, severe weather, whether or not, severe weather specifics, which we'll get into the HRRR model for that in a little bit later, but there's that. And this is why we're going to be seeing that severe weather threat as we go back a little bit. So this thunderstorm line to me with the European model kind of more looks like a wind threat and not more of a tornado threat. But again, if you're going to have a tornado, this is going to be a QCLS tornado threat. It'd be any notches in here, you could potentially find rotation. And any thunderstorms that can, sometimes, you can watch my latest video on tornadoes, on how to find a tornado. You can find that on my channel, Stratus Forecast Weather. But this looks to me more like a wind threat than anything, not so much a tornado threat. So this severe weather threat kind of diminishes by the time you get on to Friday. This kind of line kind of holds together, but it doesn't look like strong enough to be actual thunderstorms. And then all attention rises to the northeast where the system begins to go on. As of now, the European model has a kind of just grazing southern Maine, and there's such a small snow, there's such a small thin layer of snow here that it's not even, it's so thin, and it gets interesting back there, but things we'll have to watch for. And then, I'm not going to go really beyond that, but here's a general idea of what could happen. So, we're not going to have much happening, but that's really that. And then potentially another nor'easter for parts of at least the mid-Atlantic for anything, and potentially grazing southern New England, but that's out of the question. So here's the GFS model. Again, you basically already know we're going to get a winter storm in the northeast. So the GFS model for the severe weather threat, again, it looks more like a linear line of storms rather than individual cells, thunderstorms. So it would be more of a wind threat than anything. But again, any tornadoes are possible. And this system kind of breaks it apart as it moves out to the east. And then, again, scattered thunderstorms, this kind of looks like a scattered thunderstorm line, so I guess there's a potential for severe weather. And it kind of holds it together all the way back through. I'd say the severe weather is already pretty much over with by this time you get into Alabama, by Georgia gets out of here. And then, so here's the GFS model on the severe weather risk. So it kind of looks like a line of scattered thunderstorms. Now, not individual cells like you see scattered thunderstorms, like not in a line, more of just scattered thunderstorms, but this looks like a line of scattered thunderstorms. So, if you know what I mean. So that moves through things, it kind of holds together about through the central Alabama area, and then by it gets to the Georgia area, things just fall apart. And the GFS model would be in the favor of snow lovers in the northeast, and here's why. So the latest run has brought this low pressure system a little bit farther to the north, which again is not a huge deal, but it's going to be just enough to put that snow up over the edge. As you can see here, again, the severe weather threat is pretty much over with. You've lost all hopes there. Well, maybe not all hopes, but the original, there's going to be, I guess, two areas of low pressure. You have one off the coast of Cape Cod, and you have one around Lake Erie and Lake Ontario and the Pennsylvania area. Sorry, not Pennsylvania area. I keep on getting this two messed up. Texas. As this system goes through, things get interesting, as you can see. Area of low pressure goes through, and this pushes up just far enough north that it covers pretty much the entire state of Maine with some light to moderate snow, maybe briefly heavy at times, but that's that. And that goes through. The GFS model has been very good with winter storms so far this year, and it was fantastic with the hurricane season. So, there's that. So with this being said, I'll quickly go over the snowfall maps, and with the temperatures, we're not looking at a huge warm-up like we were. I have to look at the Climate Prediction Center, but the warm-up does not look near as extensive. I'll take a look at the temperatures real quick if it's extensive. Alright, so here's a general idea of where you could see the most snow, or where most snow is going to fall. So again, wow, this is crazy. So if you remember a few days ago when we were taking a look at the weather models on my channel, you can see the snow line was actually a little bit farther down to the south and a little bit farther to the east. So this is a big change. So again, northern half the country, this is like well up into the northern half of the country. Sees the most snow. Northeast gets down some snow all the way back to the Great Lakes, Upper Plains, all the way back to the Pacific Northwest, and up through Colorado area. So again, and then parts of New Mexico and Arizona back to Colorado and Utah, and even parts of the mountains of California and parts of Nevada get on some beneficial snow. Here's the European model. Again, European model, kind of the same, only kind of has a little bit of a winter system down here, which was not shown on the GFS model. We'll see if the again, this system was like from weeks out, so this is likely not going to happen. But it covers much of this area. Again, it's a little bit farther to the south of the European model. So again, northeast and mid-Atlantic get on some beneficial snow, all the way back to the Ohio Valley, Great Plains, Upper Plains, Pacific Northwest, back to the mountains of California, pretty much the entire state of Nevada on the European model, Utah, pretty much the entire state, and then pretty much the entire state of both, Arizona and New Mexico, and parts of Colorado, again, and then basically southeast stays, again, not dry, but snow covered. Not dry, but wet. Okay, we're not going to be dealing with snow like we were a few weeks ago with a crazy historic winter storm. This is just going to be your average rain. and it's going to be beneficial rain too, actually. So with this being said, covering the first winter storm across the Northeast. This is my newest forecast. Again, I did it for the state of Maine only because it seems to be the easiest to do, honestly. It really is. So snowfall forecast, this is for tomorrow into Thursday, which we're basically at 11:21 p.m. right now, so at the time of this recording. So this would be pretty much tomorrow into Thursday, and this is my official forecast, quote-unquote official. And I'm not going to be changing it because I feel this is going to be pretty close to accurate. So 1 to 2 inches are pretty much, I think, is going to be the ballpark for parts of northern Maine. This might get as far south as about the Millinock area in the Katahdin region. A widespread 1 to 3 inches likely for central, western, the western White Mountains, northwestern mountains, southern Maine, the mid-coast, and all the way out to Down East Maine will experience about 1 to 3 inches. 3 to 5 inches would be the jackpot for Down East Maine, where the snow stays around a little bit longer. And there will be some more moderate bands of snow, so it might accumulate a little bit more. And I expect the highest accumulations to be literally right along the immediate coastline. And I know the last time I made a snowfall map like this, I was completely off. Everyone was off, honestly, because the HRRR model ended up winning over this. Here's the thing. I'm going with the HRRR model this time. Because, you know, I've seen the radar sites. I've seen the radar. I was doing a live stream yesterday. I saw the radar. I saw the HRRR model, and they were basically the same thing. Really similar. So that's why I'm going to continue to go with the HRRR model, especially for, let me think. Very tiny range forecast, very small range forecast. And then we'll go with the European model. I'm going to trend more to the GFS model. I don't typically do this, but the GFS model has just been doing a fantastic job lately, so I'll tend to go with the GFS model. But also have to counter that the European model has also been very good with snowstorms through the years. So it's kind of a hard forecast, but GFS model seems to be winning. So again, 3 to 5 inches expected for probably a good chunk of Down East Maine, and this might even extend through central Maine and parts of the far north and about the north central area, like this kind of corner here through Maine. And then why did I put a 2 to 4 inch range here? Here's why. There's going to be some snow squalls behind this initial cold front that brings the snow originally, and we already saw snow squalls yesterday in Maine. We're going to see it yet again, probably. So again, I put snow squalls behind system. So it's going to, the snow squalls are going to cover a fairly large area. This will extend from basically the entire state of New Hampshire. It'll cover parts of Vermont, and it will cover the western mountains of Maine, western Maine, southern Maine, and into the mid-coast. This will be an additional probably half an inch to an inch. So originally with the forecast, we were looking at about 1 to 3 inches for this entire area, because I thought that was pretty reasonable. But since we get that additional a half an inch to an inch of snow, I put 2 to 4 inches there just to be safe. So there's that. Alright, so now on to the severe weather threat. I cannot speak. The severe weather threat. So, alright, so we're going to use the NAM model for the severe weather threat. I would usually use the HRRR model. However, it's still getting an update, and it's still not really all the way there to, like, show us the entire future radar in, like, very, like, specific terms and very, like, very accurate readings of radar. Well, at least the most accurate you can really get in radar. It just shows like the very simple radar, other than just, you know, the blobs that you see with the NAM model or the HRRR, not the HRRR model, but the European model and the GFS model. But again, here's a general idea. So you can basically tell with the showers and thunderstorms. So this is through Thursday. So the severe weather threat kind of would line up through here where the thunderstorms are. This is throughout the day, continues on, and then it moves through, and then it gets a little bit more intense through the state of the state of Louisiana. So we can take a look at the severe weather threat for this. So here's the supercell composite. So we're going through Thursday. Again, it does not look that good, let's be honest here. It does not look that good. Things have downtrended quite a bit. Here's the energy helicity. It's not really great. It's just barely there. And then obviously the big one, the significant tornado parameter. So as we go through, again, it's not really there. These darker grays, I mean, I guess it's slightly elevated, but it's not really there. We can take a look at the Cape as well. The Cape looks fairly decent. Again, for severe weather threat or an outbreak, you're going to need much more than just this. But here's the shear. This is a big one. Shear looks fantastic, honestly. That's what you need for a severe weather threat right there. The only problem is this, I don't know, it's not a negative tilted trough, which would drag in more moisture, but it is still up there. We got a pretty moderate to intense jet stream out of this, which this would be the shear environment, so pretty intense level of jet stream, and this will be probably a low level jet to support the gusty winds within the thunderstorms. But then again, we can look at other models, like the GFS model, see if they've had any decent updates with the again, we can take a look at the GFS model, see if there's been any updates with the instability or the superslug composite. It is a little bit more intense on the GFS model, specifically through parts of Louisiana. And then people have been obviously concerning about a tornado outbreak across the Carolinas and up to the mid-Atlantic. Again, it's not looking likely. Maybe a little bit through Georgia, but really that's really it. Here's the shear environment for the from the European model. Look at that shear. That's impressive. But the unfortunate thing for severe weather is this jet is not low. It's not far south enough to grab all that moisture, right? So it just kind of drags it out, and it doesn't really get far south, so it doesn't really look that impressive. It looks impressive through the state of Arkansas, specifically in parts of Tennessee, but again, I don't think I think it's not really, it doesn't really get enough energy up there to really support any severe weather. Also, one other thing just before I end the video, again, I mentioned the temperature thing, so I kind of want to go over it now. Again, from a few days ago, with the low pressure system down in Texas, it was originally going to go straight up northeast, up through the Ohio Valley, well, not the Ohio Valley, but like the Midwest, and create like a rain and wind event for the northeast, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen again, and that's a good thing for snow lovers, honestly, because this is the kind of system you would want for some snow. But again, the temperatures, we've been watching this, so the temperatures are going to crash in the northeast, specifically Maine, but again, that cold outbreak through the 31st and 1st does still look possible across the northeast right now, especially the state of Maine, where that cold air continues to plunge down to the northeast. Look at those temperatures. -4 degrees, and then it quickly goes up. But notice, the temperatures really never make it that far up the eastern seaboard. So this is a uptrend, well, especially, this is an uptrend for snow enjoyers. So again, notice the temperatures. Oh wow, look at this. So a streak through about the northern Minnesota area, all the way back up through portions of western Canada, with a streak of like 20 to 30 below zero temperatures. This is on the 12th, so this is a long way away. But obviously we have to check out with the GFS model to see if things, the models agree. So again, colder in the northeast for tonight, and then we get a little bit of a plunge of cold air through the 31st. We're just waiting for that initial area of cold air to plunge through. The GFS model does not want to put that cold air all the way down there, which is insane. But here it is through about there. It gets really cold in northern Maine, and then -2 to -3 in areas of Maine, especially interior Maine. And then moving through, and then the GFS model kind of wants to uptrend these temperatures a little bit more, but then quickly drag them all the way back down and then kind of rigid a little bit. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. So yeah, watch out for that snow event in the northeast, especially some of those snow squalls coming out of the lakes. And after that cold front comes through, along the cold front, I mean, it goes through the interior New England area and up through southern Maine. I would keep an eye on that, especially because, you know, snowstorms are intense at times. And it'll lead to probably around 1 to 5 inches at the most, but I don't think anything more than that. Next thing will be the severe weather threat in the Texas Panhandle, well, the Texas area, and it'll cross pretty much. Before it fades out, probably get to about the central part of Alabama before it kind of fizzles out, as far as the weather models are predicting. But a slight risk of severe weather isn't really extreme. You'd have to get more enhanced to a moderate risk of severe weather to like see me live stream, because I'm not just going to live stream a marginal risk of severe weather. I mean, what is the point, literally? A slight risk of severe weather? Yeah, maybe. But I'm not doing a marginal risk of severe weather. But we'll continue to keep an eye on that. But yeah, temperatures will kind of, the cold air is going to try to win back over. Well, it's been dominating for like the last couple of months of the winter time. But temperatures will try to, those warm temperatures will try to fight that. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. So yeah, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.